All right, well, let's call to order, 7 o'clock. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In case all of you are wondering, we are recording this meeting. It will be uploaded to the Township YouTube page, probably sometime tomorrow and available Thursday. And that's, I guess, all I have to say. Board members, please try and talk loudly.
All right, first approval of agenda. Anything, corrections need to be made?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carried. Approval of the minutes, 3/11/25.
I do have a correction that I found out about today under the building and zoning. I wrote that T-Mobile towers are proposed for the area but not in Portage Township. After seeing a building permit, T-Mobile is building a 10 by 20 building where the tower is now off of Santon Road. So it's not a tower and it isn't Portage Township.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes with the additional change.
I'll second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carried. Next is approval of the bills.
We have payroll, township payroll, $10,686.21. EMS, $19,513. Library, $2,310. The bills, because the board meeting is early, there are a few bills that will straggle in. 2 phone bills and our Acumed bill for March need to be paid in this next week when they come. The general fund bills were $18,650.61. Ambulance, $22,294.45. The library, $4,010.36. And our May payment on our road bond bill came, and we'll be paying that, $231,193.76. Of that amount, $200,000 is principal payment and $31,193.76 is interest. Our next payment will be in November, and that will be an interest-only payment.
I'll make the motion we accept the bills with the 2 AT&T coming in and the Acumen.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor of paying the bills, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carried. Department reports. Planning Commission.
Nothing to report on. I'm gonna try and plan a meeting in May. And then hopefully we'll have something to report on in June. Pretty quiet as we sit.
Okay. Parks and Rec.
Yeah, well, nothing major to report on, but I don't know, Steve, if you talked to Troy at DNR about the dredging? And I did talk to him, actually spent the day with him, getting a piece of equipment out of the woods that we were using, and which is interesting. If you go so far, then you have to take it up, you know, with a winch it up the hill and out. But half a day we got it out, so. When I asked him about the dredging down here, he says, well, we don't do that anymore. And the equipment that we had that did it over the ice is still in Baraga, all kind of rotting away and, needs lots of work done to it, and they don't expect they're gonna do it. But what he did say to me, that we do have one piece of equipment left here that we use it at Indian Lake. And it's very similar to this one, north facing on the lake, very sandy. Fills in a lot and it stays, I don't know where it stays, but, so he's gonna come over and take a look at this. As soon as the water will take a few measurements and maybe see what they can do. But normally, they're trying to get it out of their business and not do it themselves. Then he did say that, there's at least 3 other, half decent boat launch on the big lake. So it's not that people can't get to them, it's just that this one is a lot more convenient down at Cerro Cueto than the other ones. So. See, I don't know what the hell, do you know, Edgar, what the Cook's Bay one looks like, or is that?
I haven't been out there right now, no, but they haven't, the trees are still laying across the driveway from the ice storm.
Been a while since I've been out there, but it was still pretty deep last time I
That's
watched
right,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's this one here is the biggest
This one
problem.
here's the worst one on the lake, and because of it, it's north facing on a very shallow lake at that point, the whole lake shallow, and very sandy right there, and it, just fills in real quickly.
Well, hopefully he can help us with that.
Yep.
Great. Dennis, he's not here, building and zoning, all right. Fire department.
I had 2 calls last month. Our latest applicant that we approved is not going to be joining. They're changing plans and moving away from the area. So that, and then as far as some of the balance of the monies that we have from the Kim Bushy donation, we'd like to get spent up as far as the department. Looking at doing some shirts and hats for all the guys, both t-shirts and like a polo dress-up type shirt for when we do our trainings and our programs that we do. And then looking at possibly like a skid unit, which is a little pump tank, goes in the back of our Ranger for doing the wildfire accessibility. I haven't gotten with Pat, but roughly I think there's probably about $4,400 left. And we're just looking to spend that up on that equipment and some small miscellaneous equipment. So.
Okay. EMS.
It's actually been pretty, not busy. I don't want to say that other word, because that's a bad word. But we had 12 calls. Something that was brought up that we might want to think about, and I mentioned it, was maybe have an electrician when they come to work here, maybe have them at least come over and check our ground and some of the plugs over there. Because I think that might be some of our issues with our electronics over there. And, I don't know if we need, it's been a long time since, that building being how old? 70 years old. That we might need a new ground put in or something, that maybe a couple new plug-ins, because we've had a few burnout issues with TVs and stuff that probably shouldn't be happening. But unless you got better ideas, that was just the one thing that was brought up to my attention as a possibility. I don't know.
All right. I'll talk to our maintenance guy first and then go from there and see what he thinks. Maybe we just put some new plugs in. Could be wore out, you're constantly plugging stuff in and out, and
Right.
maybe there's an issue there or something. All right. Treasurer, you got anything?
I don't know.
Clerk?
get back in there for just a minute. I wasn't quite done there. The other thing is, we need to think about, and after the last weather event that we had, as far as the ice damage, the ice damage down state, of course, was a little bit worse than what we had here. But dealing with the county emergency managers, going through some things. One of the things that I've brought up before is, as far as having a generator for this building. As far as a warming center, I mean, it was the same thing. They were to the point, they wanted to start a warming center here in the west end. They had one in Engadine, but they wanted one here also. So something I think the board should be looking at as far as having a backup generator to service this building in case of emergency type situation of that nature, so. And that's it.
Oh, and we talked about, probably about 15 years ago, maybe 20 now, we talked about getting, maybe getting a few cots and putting them in storage and maybe getting a few things, for an event like that happening, so that we would just have it prepared. Just something to think about. We were talking about it a long time ago, but we never,
Just even air mattresses,
yeah.
something that stores away pretty easily.
Emergency kits
Good.
and
Future. All right, clerk?
Let's see, I already mentioned about videotaping the board meetings again. The YouTube is Portage Township, Mackinac County. And that should take you right to our YouTube page. The First Impressions of Tourism program we talked about last month. We have signed the contract and we are good to go with them. They're planning an organizing meeting for the 6-member kind of core team sometime the week of the 19th of May. And I've had a couple phone calls already about wanting to know if we're putting up fencing on the sides of the pickleball courts now that the trees are all down. I do have some bids from back when we looked at that from the Spark grant, that we probably could contact those vendors. Dave at the post office seemed to think, on the sides. The west side, nearest to H42, a solid fence, and then one with a gate on the east side. And the upper part of the north and south fencing, we just have kind of a plastic snow fencing type thing. I think that it would be smart if we're doing the rest to put regular and metal fencing up at the top, and then we don't have to deal with it coming loose and being needed to be replaced. Those are just maybe some things to look at when we get to planning next year's budget. And I think that's it. It's a little quiet, no elections this year, so other things are getting taken care of.
And trustees?
We probably need to make a decision tonight, or not tonight. We've already made a decision to replace the doors at the school, but we need to put it in the paper.
A bid?
Yeah, because it's gonna be some lead time on the doors and some lead time on the work. Summer's coming pretty quick, and so,
This is for the front doors, or all
I
the
know
doors?
there's
All the doors?
1, 2, 3, 4, there's 6 doors, one including a double.
So 8 sets of doors.
They're all exterior doors, except for the front glass. So we probably need to move forward with that. I mean, to get it in the paper, is what I'm saying. It's probably gonna run it for 2 weeks, so that means 1st of May. And somebody, whoever we award it to, they gotta have time to order the doors.
If you write up the specs of what you want in the ad, because we're gonna need sizes and specifications.
Yeah, okay, we can do that. That's not that hard.
All right. Yeah, just do that and put it in the paper.
I guess the next question would be, do we want windows in them?
Oh, I think you do, because you won't see people coming or going. I mean, like this one has a tiny window.
Yeah, but you can get windows this way, you can get one like that. What do we want to spec, I guess, that's gotta be
What's a
decided.
requirement for a school?
Are these exit only? Some of those doors just exit only, like emergency exit?
No.
No, they're all used.
They're all used,
They're
and
all-
I'd want a window like that in all of them.
Yeah, high.
Kids can't see if they're up high.
Yeah,
Correct.
you don't know, bang into a kid, living in and out.
Currently, they have the vertical, narrow vertical,
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
so why wouldn't you say something
Yeah.
very similar to what's already there?
Yeah,
We can do that.
yeah,
That's what we got. I mean, I can't fit through the ones they got now,
Yeah.
but he can reach his arm in it.
yeah, that sounds good.
Lever, but-
Yeah, if you just get the specs on that.
Okay, I'll do it. And you'll put that in the paper, Mrs. M?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to our township policies we need to accept.
In conjunction with paid time off work we were doing with the attorneys, they reviewed our fire and ambulance policies and our job descriptions. I wouldn't necessarily call them contracts, but for assessing, building and zoning, maintenance. And the first step, because we've never ever had an umbrella, I'll call it, personnel policy manual that would apply to everyone, whether it's elected officials or, part-time summer help. So this is, I emailed it out to everybody, a month and a half ago, I think. And I guess if you have any questions or things that you think we need to alter, change, or omit.
I thought it looked good.
This does include the version of the STEP earned time off policy is also part of this. I mean, it goes as far as, communication systems, posting online, use of email, social media policy. It is something that, once it's approved and in its final format, every employee will get a copy and will need to sign and return the back sheet. And then it'll go right in their employee files. We're still working on the update of the EMS, and I don't have the fire ones yet, Jeff.
Fire what?
The update of the policies, a lot of what's in the policies currently are either already state mandated or they're now covered under the personnel policies. So the fire and the ambulance are gonna be like two separate addendums to this policy that go a little bit deeper into the specifics of what's needed for those positions.
Yeah, ours came back from the lawyer and we went through it and it looks good. I mean, she made a lot of, simple changes that, if you read it, you're like, oh yeah, that probably sounds better like that, kind of thing. But I didn't really see anything overly dramatic or anything to our,
I would make a motion that we accept the Portage Township personal policy.
I'll second that. All those in favor of accepting the policies, township policies, say aye.
Uh,
None opposed, motion carried. Next is ambulance, power cut. So, last time we met, we talked about, that somebody had said that it was a requirement that we do the full power cut. I talked to the dealer. The dealer said no, that we had to do an upgrade to the ambulance that would facilitate going to the power cot. I kinda think we should probably go that way anyways and get it upgraded, but we know we do not have to do that right now with the new chassis. He said there was like 2 different kinds, but the Striker seems to be what everybody's using. He emailed me a copy of the brochure if anybody wanted to see that. And all the reasons why everybody is going to the power cots. It's like back injuries from employees and things like that, that it cuts way down on. And with that, he said that he didn't know, I didn't know either which insurance company we had, but he said that the MMRNA insurance, if we had that, had a program where they would pay 50%. You also mentioned last time there was, I don't know if it was the same one or not, it had a program like that. They'd pay 50% of the power cot. So that might be something we still want to
Yeah,
look
we
at.
have to double check on the 50%. I know that there are grants for, I think it's up to $6,000 biannually through Park Plan, which is Michigan Municipal, that's MM, whatever it is.
It is MM? Okay, that's the one you mentioned.
Yeah. But the other thing is, if we have those, we do get a discount on workers' comp premiums, which, you know, we're paying almost $18,000 a year in workers' comp. So any little bit we can save is good.
The chassis hasn't come in yet. They had to order one. Once that's in, then they'll contact us with a date for manufacturing to transfer our existing equipment over to the new chassis. So we've got time to work on the power cot if we decide we want to just go ahead and do the full upgrade. I know that
Did they give us prices on that?
Yes, he said if you want to do a full complement, I think, these here's, he sent me this here, through them, and it might be cheaper through someone else or direct through Stryker. This was for the Stryker full complement was $69,985.
And that's what you'll put in the ambulance and the cot, or no cot?
Oh, that's
This is
the
with the cot, this is the full everything. Like I say, maybe check with the insurance and the grants and things like that. Because you said you had done that once before, didn't you? That you-
Well, we had looked into, we were under the impression that there was a conversion kit that could be put on our cots, and then it was the cost of the actual power lift portion, I guess I would call it. But our cots were too old to be converted. And at that point, we just didn't do anything.
Mr. Avery?
Edgar and I went down and met with the guys, the head of the emergency services at Schoolcraft County. And he told us that the number one cause of ambulance employee injuries was the actual loading of that patient in. And this power lift pretty much does away with that. It does most of the work. Even though it is a little heavier, it looks like a good idea.
Yeah, the brochure cites about half a dozen reasons why you should buy their product. And that one was a big one, was back injuries to the employees. And patients falling out of the cot tipping over or something like that, that these are eliminate or reduce a lot of these issues. So maybe I'll give that to you if you want to look at that some more.
Oh, I was sold on it a long time ago.
Okay. So, any more discussion on that right now?
What about the chat? You were gonna check with them about the 2009 chassis. That, were they expecting it as the
Oh,
contract said,
so-
or?
So they're gonna give us a price on what they're giving us for it when they see it, because they only went by pictures on their general estimate. And then when they get the chassis down there, they will evaluate it and tell us what they're offering for it. And if we don't wanna accept their trade-in offer for it, we can just take it back.
So they're gonna give us a price with this cot and stuff and all that then?
It's right here.
Well, the
No, I know
contract,
the cot, but the total with the, well, of course, they don't know till
They
they
got,
get
yeah,
on the truck.
they gotta have our chassis.
Yeah, I got it. It just took a minute for me to catch it on there.
Yeah. Alright, if that's it. The groomer barn purchase, the attorney has given us, sent me back, purchase agreement, and, Ross is out of town, I haven't been able to, meet with him yet, for him to just look it over, give you a copy, Mrs. M, because you're so familiar with these, and he gave me a lease on the property from,
Lilac Lane.
Lilac Lane, but he hasn't done the lease from about the building back yet. And says, we wanna make sure we got this all right first, and then, give us the one where we lease this building back to them for, the $1 a month till they move out. So I'm expecting Ross to be back this week also. And then also, we have to get with a title company to get the title insurance. I know there's one in St. Ignace and there's one in Schoolcraft County.
I would recommend Schoolcraft.
Okay. And talk to Ross about that too. And as soon as I hear back from Ross that the lease looks like it's supposed to, we're in agreement, we'll get ahold of the title company and they can start the title work and move forward.
Steve, you want me to get it to Russ? I'll be seeing.
There you go. This is the purchase agreement. And here's the lease. And
As far as
the
the
lease,
title,
lease isn't critical right now, it's just the purchase agreement.
yeah. As far as the title company, we're
Make
fine with Schoolcraft also.
Schoolcraft, you prefer?
Whoever you guys
Well,
prefer.
They're closer, but
I,
Whoever you guys prefer, and we'll
if you,
go with
it doesn't
that.
matter to me, I mean, what do you think? Have you dealt with
I've
Schoolcraft?
dealt with both of them.
You have, and you prefer the other one?
It's been a while.
Whatever Ross
You know
thinks
what,
too.
and maybe you wanna check with some of the realtors in town and get their opinion, because they're the ones that have really first-hand experience in terms of timing and how long it takes them to do a search.
I think the other one's better, let's just go with it.
Schoolcraft
St.
is
Ignace, but,
much better
Yeah.
by
Okay.
far.
so again, yeah, if you just wanna get with Ross, make sure that's good, and then we can move forward and get the title work going.
We'll do that.
Also, the North Road Lilac Lane property, number 4, split. The attorney said that we don't have to split it because we have a survey, and if we record the survey showing that 5 acres, that we don't have to do a split. So, Mr. Abram, you have that survey and get it recorded?
There's a couple parts to that. Have you talked to Edgar about what's happened with equalization in the last week?
This is just the lilac.
This is not the
Just
North
the
Road,
Lilac
this
Lane.
is just the Lilac Lane property. We did a survey on that.
You know,
I just have a copy,
and the county doesn't charge us for stuff.
and so we just need to get this survey recorded for us to do the lease on that.
I have the originals.
Oh, you have the original?
Yeah, that's all we need, send it to them.
If we can get that recorded, then we're good to go on that.
So you wanna handle that, Mrs. M? To send, how do we get it down there to them?
Well, you can either mail it. The other issue that we have is that the Register of Deeds has prepared the deeds for the North Road property, and particularly the one for the North Road.
Yes.
which I think Mackinac County Road Commission is anxious to receive. But they wanna know who's gonna sign the deed, and they also need the original of the survey, which I said, well, come sign the deed, you know, whoever comes will take that. So, I don't know that they specified any one particular board member needed to sign it. We just need to decide who's gonna sign it and who's gonna go out there and
Where do we gotta go to sign?
register of deeds of the county.
Say it again?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have Jim Hill and Deb who could transfer stuff back and forth.
I can just make
to us
a run
anymore.
down there and get it done.
How many people need to go? Two?
No, I think just one.
Steve volunteers.
Yeah, I'll go. So we can do this at the same time then, the Lilac Lane recording of the survey?
Yeah, it's on the same
Do the
place.
same thing.
So you just have to take it with you.
So I just need that documentation.
Well, you need both, and I have both originals.
Okay,
They sent me 2 sets of originals.
all right. Try to do that then, probably next week. Make a note of that. Take.
Yeah, the splits aren't supposed to be approved till next week, so maybe you want to just.
Well,
just
you
hold
call
on.
me when that's done then, then I'll go.
That's correct.
Sound good?
Yeah, no sense in getting the cart before the horse.
All right. You let me know when you're ready and then I'll go take it. All right. Let's see, new business, dust control. County Road Commission has sent us some information on that, it's in your packet. 2025 liquid calcium. Looks like Wilkerson's still the cheapest.
At the 28%,
Yeah.
I know Don's here. Last year, they were gonna do a study in Luce County if that 35 held better. Did we ever hear back?
I never heard back. I'll make a couple calls and ask. I'll give the AO